momentum that they represent, this energetic, youthful, democratic, socialist-aligned, progressive challenge to kind of the democratic establishment. What is it you see there that you find positive?
Yeah, so I think, Brad, in that intro, you're kind of missing why they won, right? That's the important part. Did they win because they're for prison abolition? No, that's a deeply unpopular position. And no one knows that better than me because I wound up debating people on the left on prison abolition a couple of years ago. This started with my co-host on the Young Turks, Anna Kasperi, and prison abolitionists started attacking her. What? Okay, so, but remember, that's not only the voters barely know that, all the things that you state are not at all the reasons that they won, except for one thing, and that's Israel. And so what you're seeing here, and I'm not DSA and I'm a democratic capitalist, okay? But I'm still thrilled that they won, not because of those policy positions, but despite those policy positions, because we're so sick of the establishment. The establishment is so deeply corrupt, both on the Democratic and Republican side. And so Israel's the tip of the iceberg. It's not the whole iceberg. It just shows you if you get bribed by the Israeli lobby, you'll serve the Israeli lobby. You get bribed by Big Pharma, you'll serve Big Pharma. And the list goes on, and they all get bribed. So these guys, these three, raised their hands and said, we're not going to get bribed. We're not going to take corporate PAC money, and we're not going to take foreign government money. And the voters basically said, good enough. I'll definitely take it over that other corrupt son of a bitch like Dan Goldman, who will 100% sell us out. So now when you see an incumbent or you see an establishment Democrat or Republican, you know that brother doesn't represent you. They represent Israel and every giant corporation looking to rob you blind. So that's why they won.
So what else? The only thing I'll say is that in one of the races, Claire Valdez, her main opposition was also ardently pro-Israel, but in the anti-Israel, sorry, in the two that you describe, yes, that was a huge issue, and I don't for a second discount the significance that it played. I wonder though, like, and I will come to you, sorry, Sean, but Cenk, I get this issue is hugely important to a lot of people. They're super passionate about it. But is there any level of craziness that would be disqualifying that they could say where you still wouldn't be excited about them anyway just because they're against Israel and against the establishment?
So, no, there's only one litmus test. Are you honest and you're going to actually represent the people in your district? Or are you a dishonest son of a bitch who's going to represent the donors? So under no circumstances would I vote for someone as extreme as an incumbent, because other than Ro Khanna and Tom Massey right now, and a couple others like Sarah Jacobs, they're right now, all the Democrats and Republicans are in the middle of selling us out and merging our militaries with Israel's. That way they could steal all of our technology. They don't have to bother sending in spies like they normally do, like Jonathan Pollard and Robert Maxwell. So if an incumbent says, I'm going to turn over trillions of dollars that Americans spent on our military to Israel for free, I'm going to fight all their wars for free, I'm going to fund their genocide and make you morally culpable, I don't know anything more extreme, more disgusting than that. So yeah, I'm going to vote for anyone opposed to that. Hey, look, to give you a sense of it, Tom Massey votes for the Republicans about 91% of the time, and so I disagree with him about 91% of the time. And I'd vote for Massey over an incumbent, any other incumbent, almost any day of the week under these circumstances, even though he's extreme to the right of me, as these folks are a little extreme to the left of me. Because are you honest or are you not? And remember, guys, there's crazy folks down in Alabama and Mississippi that have won that think that the Muslims are about to take over or whatever, all the crazy things they think of, right? But that's because they're not representing New York. They're representing Alabama and Mississippi. And these folks are not representing Alabama or Oklahoma. They're representing New York. So it's not my job to tell them who to vote for, but I know who to vote against, and it's the corrupt, disgusting incumbents.
Okay, Sean, bringing you in here, give us your big picture take on these kind of three as rising stars, and then maybe get into what Cenk said.
It's obviously a disaster. Obviously, look, Israel has become a prominent issue among a huge section of Democratic voters, so it makes sense that they would pick the anti-Israel candidates versus the pro-Israel candidates. But, like, this is the example of nobody being too crazy and too extreme, and to describe these candidates as honest is absurd. I mean, what's her name? The Chevalier woman, she had to delete like 3,600 of her tweets because she's trying to cover up what she actually believes. When she was asked directly about her saying that the U.S. bullied Russia in the context of Russia invading the Ukraine, she suddenly, very honestly apparently, didn't remember the context of that, as if we couldn't all figure this out. So yeah, the Democratic Party is going in a very anti-American direction. They're electing quite literal communists that support Vladimir Lenin. Again, Chevalier, wonderful pick for that particular district. I'm really hoping the Democrat ends up running third party, even though that might not even work. It didn't work for Andrew Cuomo. And yeah, this is the radicalization of the Democratic Party around one particular issue. Ironically, these people are Israel first. I mean, Cenk's in that camp. He's like, I'm against prison abolition and all these other crazy things. But when he sees candidates that are for that, he's like, well, I'll endorse them because of some allusion to honesty. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. And again, what's her name? Chevalier believes that if you commit a crime in the United States of America as an illegal immigrant and get convicted, you have double jeopardy protections from deportation. So you have better protections than even non-criminal illegal aliens in the United States of America after you commit a crime. And Cenk's signing on for that because Israel.
All right. Yeah. Are you Israel first in like Sean says, Cenk?
So as I just said earlier, Israel is the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg is corruption and money in politics. So Israel is being used as a proxy, guys. So you guys could claim, oh, wow, like Israel, what a random thing. It's not random. We've done $8 trillion worth of war for them. They've stolen $320 billion from us. They've stolen our nuclear triggers, our uranium, our nuclear secrets. They released Epstein upon our children. And these disgusting fascists are now invading Lebanon and making us go to war with Iran. Are they going to give us $100 billion that this war has cost us?
Notice how Sean's point was about the extreme views of these politicians like Daria Lisa Chevalier, who is insane, by the way. Shane just brings it right back to Israel. He's just using Israel as a red herring constantly throughout this debate. You'll notice that as it goes on. What he tries to do over and over is just keep going back to Israel, making this all about Israel. And that's why I think it's so funny. Sean says, actually, Cenk is Israel first because it's the only thing Cenk seems to give a shit about.
So you're talking about some rando has the congressional candidate that just won that has a past opinion about prison abolition. Is she going to be able to get that passed in Congress? No, of course not. Literally no one else is going to support that. So that has zero chance of being put into effect. On the other hand, every incumbent promises that they will continue to rob us blind and send trillions of dollars to Israel. That's real. That's real. That robbery is in the middle of happening right now. But it's just one of the robberies. Then Big Pharma robs us. Big Oil gets $35 billion a year in subsidies. Why are the three of us paying for ExxonMobil's costs when they're one of the most profitable companies in the world? That is nothing but an unmitigated robbery. So if you're for the incumbents, you're for robbing Americans blind, stealing their money and giving it to big drug companies, oil companies, defense contractors. So I say hell no to that. So yes, whether it's Massey or Chevalier, I don't care. As long as you have an honest opinion and you're trying to serve your citizens and not trying to serve Israel or Big Pharma or some other lobby that bought you because you're corrupt, then I'm going to vote for the honest person. You guys keep voting for the corrupt people and have them rob all of us, and I guess you celebrate that, and that's real. That they're doing that right now, and they promise to do that forever unless we vote all the sons of bitches out.
So notice what's happening here, guys. Cenk is basically laying out his entire worldview and his political hierarchy for you guys. He doesn't care how extreme somebody's policies are, as long as they aren't corrupt and are honest, specifically regarding Israel. So let's look at this logically. Candidates can have many different positive and negative traits. Corruption and dishonesty in politicians is something that nobody objectively wants. but voting for somebody who will make harmful policy is going to be much worse for everyday Americans. And Cenk's living in a fantasy land if he thinks he can just vote for honest politicians. Look at how Ilhan Omar's net worth grew to almost $30 million before she corrected it recently. That doesn't come from a salary, guys. And then look at the other side of the aisle, guys. Look at Dan Crenshaw. He ran as a populist conservative and then became just as corrupt as everybody else. I'm not saying we shouldn't vote for honest politicians, guys, but that can't be the highest level priority for voting for politicians. And Cenk's argument about how these folks won't be able to actually enact any of those policies is insane as well. I mean, there is a tipping point in Congress and in the Senate where there will be majorities, or not even majorities, but there can be voting blocks which influence political decisions. If you look the other way on one extreme person because they're honest or they're anti-Israel or whatever crazy thing Cenk wants, that's fine. What if you vote for 4 or 5 of them? What about 15, 30? Eventually, that group will coalesce when they get big enough and they will hold real political sway. And that is very dangerous. But Cenk doesn't care because as long as Israel doesn't get funded,